50 years mortgages might be coming to the U.S. sooner rather than later. And trust me, you want to hear about them now. So today, we're going to sit with Dee Bares, mortgage expert, and dive in what 50 years mortgages could mean for buyers everywhere.
You can tell by the shoes and down south blues. A smooth cat like me got nothing to lose, cause I'm an outlaw. Hey listen, this town ain't big enough for the two of us.
50 years mortgage affordability looks like dreams coming true, but is it illusion or is it lifetime debt trap?
I personally feel that having a mortgage for 50 years gives you the opportunity to afford your house sooner. You don't have to wait until you're 35 or 45 years old to become a first-time homeowner, which is the situation currently.
Let's talk about equity. You have no equity. All you do is paying 50 years interest rate.
Okay, but you build equity in two ways, right? When you make your monthly payment on time and also when the house grows in value. So if you buy the house when you are 18 or 20 years old, it's gonna be $300,000. But if you wait until you're 35 or 40 years old to buy a house, how much do you think that same house will cost you?
Well, typically they double value every 10 to 12 years.
It will be more than twice as much, and interest rate will be so much higher. And you are going to rent between the age of 18 to 35 anyways. So might as well own your own house. So just buy a house when you are younger. It will be so much easier for you to do it. Whether it's 30 or 50 years, it truly doesn't matter. Just try to get into a house now before you get into debt. There is a difference between you have to pay $2,000 a month versus you want to pay $2,000 a month. So let's say in a 30-year mortgage, your responsibility is $2,000 a month. But if you have a 50-year mortgage, your responsibility will be $1,600. Now, if you want to pay more towards that monthly payment, that's because you want to, not because you have to. So what happens if during life you get sick or another COVID happens? That's the goal. The goal is always to pay extra. You don't want to pay a 30-year mortgage. You don't want to pay a 50-year mortgage. But you do want the flexibility to pay as little as possible and send more if you want to, not because you have to.
So what are the main reasons why buyers don't qualify to get a mortgage?
You tell me. You're a real estate agent.
Well, they don't understand their debt-to-income ratio. They have too many student loans, car loans. What else?
Well, the reality is when you buy a house by the age 35 or 45, by then you already have a lot of debt. You already have a lot of student loans. Your debt to income is out of whack.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to start early.
Because you don't accumulate as much debt.
Correct. So when we talk about debt to income, it really is all about numbers. We want to know how much are you bringing in and how much you're spending.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so very important that you start and buy a house early.
And that's why 50 years mortgage makes more and more sense. So what's the worst thing that can happen with the 50 years mortgage? I guess you can be in debt till you retire or die.
Most people don't pay their houses in 30 or 50 years. They pay in 7 to 10 years. So the reality is you have to be realistic. Now, if you are the type of person that when you buy a car for 3 years, it takes you literally 3 years to pay it, or for 5 years, it takes you 5 years to pay it, then you are more likely to get a house for a term of 30 years or 50 years, and it will take you that amount of time, which means that you're going to pay tons and tons and tons of interest. However, the people that keep the house for that long are very few.
But you have a guaranteed monthly payment because if you rent, your rent amount can skyrocket before you know it. So even if you lock in 50 years mortgage, you guarantee that payment for 50 years of your life. That's not a bad outcome.
Problem that we're having is right now that people don't qualify. So we need to talk about the issues like DTI. We need to talk about issues about FICO score. We need to talk about the fact that rents are super expensive. Right now, sometimes it's cheaper to buy than to rent.
I know.
We need to educate our clients. We always resist new ideas. And the reality is this is a solution for many people. Why do you want to be renting from age of 18 to 35 when you can buy right now?
You can afford, yeah.
Correct. So, and think about this. If you buy right now, even if your income is modest, you're going to have plenty of time to get married. That means 2 incomes. Get more education. That means more income, right? You're going to get smarter in the way that you approach with your money. You're going to have cash flow if you want to create your new business, right? Or if you want to invest in yourself. You're going to have a lot of time to do that while you own your house, while your house is growing in value. So Monica, now that we have talked about debt to income, we have talked about FICO score, we have talked about the age of the buyer, how do you feel about obtaining a 50-year mortgage?
Now I see why you're so excited about it. I think it makes a lot of sense for first-time home buyers, for any buyers, for investors, for everybody who needs to get into real estate game. Because if you have no other options to purchase real estate today, this is the answer to your prayers.
For me, I think it's very important to educate ourselves and educate our community, especially young people. You don't have to rent anymore. What you have to do is learn about the process. And the earlier that you get in the game, the better.
So if you want to explore whether 50 years mortgage is the best product for you or not, reach out to Dee Bares.
513-223-3242. Just remember one thing. Whether it's 30 or 50-year mortgage, you need to prepare yourself. Don't wait until you have tons of responsibility and tons of debt. Get in contact with me, get in contact with Monica and start preparing yourself. We can help you.
Let's make it happen.